The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com and at amazon.com.
And right now I want to welcome Whitney to the show. You're dealing with depression?
Yes, I've suffered for about a year, but I'm kind of feeling like I might need to come off my medicine. And I just want a question about what you think. Well, can I give you a little background first?
Okay. When you talk about medicine, let me just give you some framework here. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking of coming off medication, you're being followed by a psychiatrist, I'm assuming? Or
not really anymore. It's been so long and I've been doing so well that I really just get prescribed.
Okay. Have you, when you say you're doing well, Whitney, are you learning thinking skills? Are you getting any cognitive therapy?
No.
Okay, because here's one of the problems with medication. If you have not been monitored and if you are trying to just wean yourself off of them or get off of them, you really need to know about the medication, how to get off of it, and you simultaneously want to build the self-confidence that you have learned the skills or made the changes in your life. For example, if you were out of a job for a really long time, Whitney, and then finally you're employed and you're so happily employed and you have friends at the job and you know that the situation has changed and that you're nowhere near a depression anymore. Mm-hmm. And in that case, I definitely would make a visit to a doctor, though, and do it with medical help. You want to give me a little background? Go ahead.
Yes, the whole thing, the whole reason I became depressed, I had a major depressive episode, but it only lasted about 2 weeks, and it was right at the time that I was trying a new birth control. And I'm a psychology major, and so I learned all about these things, and I just wondered if it really could have been situational, or if that medicine could have put me in such a downfall that, I needed medicine, of course, to get out of it. But I just wonder if now that I'm off birth control and having no problems, if I really am still depressed at all, or if I really was, or if it was just the medicine.
Have you had a history of being depressed before?
No.
Not like that?
No, I came back. I'm in college, and I came back to college. And I always have a little problem with adjustment, but it takes me a couple of days to get over it. And I came back to college and just I couldn't get out of bed. I just was majorly depressed. So I went home, went to the doctor, and they put me on some meds, told me I was in a major episode. But soon after I got on the medicine, it didn't even take the full, 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks to kick in. I just started feeling better, and I've been on it now for a year and a half. I've never had any problems since.
Yeah.
But I also haven't been taking that medicine. So I just don't know if my personal situation, how to tell.
That's a hard one to factor out, and you definitely need a medical doctor. I don't know what's in a birth control pill. Let me just say a few words, though. When you were in the deep depression, the question is...
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Ellen will be back.
Romance. Ugh, I wish guys knew more about what we want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance. A serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. The Selfish Path to Romance. That is interesting.
When you were in the deep depression, the question is, what thoughts were going through your mind? Because the psychological aspect of depression is what you want to track. And you don't want to be left with, but now I feel better. You want to know what's changed. You don't want to ever leave something in a mushy feeling state. So what thoughts were going through your mind when you went into that 2-week depression?
It was completely unknown. I had no idea why I was feeling so terrible. My parents had gone through divorce a couple of years back, and I was dealing with it and adjusting to college. So I can see some situational things that definitely were going on, but those were not the thoughts that I was having during that depression. It was literally, what is wrong with me? I have no idea what's going on. This is all so sudden, but I just feel terrible. It was completely just, I was having some suicidal thoughts, but not any kind of serious suicidal thoughts, just questioning, why I was in this position. those were really the thoughts I was going through my head.
Okay, so if it wasn't that, oh my God, what if I fail college, or what if I find a boyfriend and get divorced? There was no content. It was sometimes when you think of anxiety, sometimes people have free-floating anxiety. They're just so revved up. They're so anxious. And you ask them, what's it about? And they say, I don't know. I just feel so revved up. You know, the way that someone would feel if they were given some medication. And maybe that is exactly all that's happened, in which case it's really sad that they gave you a diagnosis of major depression and you want to find out more about birth control pills and the particular one that you were on. And I don't know if you could call your OBGYN person, your gynecologist.
Try to figure out.
And definitely get as much information as you can. You're already a student, a psych student.
Yes.
So get the information you can about what that birth control does, because if you decide to go into the field of psychology, you need to be able to rule out a medical cause to a problem.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can think of being on medication myself where, you're coming out of anesthesia and you are definitely not yourself.
No,
or you're given some medication. I remember once I was given an inhalant because I had the flu and I needed to be able to talk on air, some steroid, and man, that put me flying. I was very anxious too.
Yes.
And that was just medication induced. So it's always important. One of the first rule outs you want whenever you're feeling depressed or anxious is a medical rule out. You want to make sure that it's not a thyroid condition, that there's not something else systemic going on, and only your medical doctor can really tell you that. Then you can go to a psychologist if they give you a clean bill of health. Now you're doing it backwards. If you find out that birth control can indeed cause this type of a mood, that particular pill can cause this type of a mood swing, then you want to be very good for yourself and not carry the label of major depression through life.
Right.
Because the labels do what type of a thing to a person?
You just always think that you attribute everything to that.
Oh, you know what? I'm just a depressed person. I had a major episode once, and as opposed to, I took birth control pills once, and I think I had an interaction, and it got misdiagnosed, and they thought I was in a depression. It's too bad I didn't see the medical doctor first. And so labels stick, and you don't want to do that to yourself. So I think that if you got it would definitely be worth a medical doctor, going to see your medical doctor, especially one, your gynecologist.
Great, and thank you.
And here's a little more from Dr. Kenner.
I need your help. I have to ask Lorraine out, but I don't know how to do it.
All right, okay, listen, keep your pants on. She's over in the cafe. All right, there she is, George. And just go in there and invite her.
Okay, but I don't know what to say.
Oh, just say anything, George. Say, well, whatever's natural. Well, the first thing that comes into your mind.
Nothing's coming to my mind.
And that's from Back to the Future, I think part 1. And we've all been in those situations where you just are put on the spot and you have to say something to someone important. Maybe it's a boss. Maybe you're going on an interview for college. Maybe you're just meeting a person for the first time on a date. And what do you say? What happens? Most of us get a little anxious, and that paralyzes our mind. And one of the big mistakes we make is we think, will they like me? And if you're thinking, will they like me? You're not thinking, will I like them? And if you shift that focus to, oh, what am I liking about her? What am I curious about? What does she enjoy? What music? What hobbies? What sports? Does she play a sport? If you shift your focus from self-judgment, am I good enough, to what do I like about her, it makes all the difference in the world.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad. Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner and co-author Dr. Edwin Locke.
Intimacy is an important part of romantic partners' lives together. Of course, crises can and do cause long intervals between intimate encounters, but many couples allow such temporary interruptions to become normal. Young couples sometimes ask, is it true that sexual attraction normally fades as time goes on? And many do let other aspects of their lives take priority over intimacy, but they don't have to. It is a choice. In the most successful romantic partnerships, sexual intimacy is made a conscious priority. Ideally, sexual attraction is enhanced with time, especially as emotional intimacy deepens.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com and buy it at amazon.com.